Good morning, beautiful souls. You know what I realized when I woke up today? The world might be chaotic, but mornings are like this magical reset button we get every single day. Isn't that just mind-blowing?
It really is. Each sunrise offers us a chance to begin again, to approach life with fresh eyes. That's why we're here every morning with you.
Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm your slightly unhinged but eternally curious host, Alex.
And I'm Mark, your slightly more grounded companion on this Tuesday, April 8th.
Oh my God, Mark, it's already April 8th? Where does the time go? It's like we're all just hurtling through space on this giant rock
And we're here to help you start your day with some clarity and calm, despite all that hurtling through space.
So our first story today is pretty heavy, actually. You know Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? Trump's Health and Human Services Secretary?
Yes, the one who's been quite outspoken about vaccines in the past.
Well, he just visited Gaines County in Texas, which is like ground zero for this absolutely terrifying measles outbreak. 2 unvaccinated children have already died from measles-related illnesses. 2 children, Mark.
It's truly heartbreaking. Kennedy said on social media that he was there to control the outbreak and comfort the families who lost their children. He was spotted outside a Mennonite church where funeral services were being held for the second child.
But, and this is the weird part, he didn't attend the nearby news conference held by the CDC about the outbreak. Like, isn't that literally his job now, to coordinate with the CDC?
It's certainly raising eyebrows. The CDC was there specifically to address the growing public health concern, and the absence of the health secretary at their press briefing is notable.
I mean, given his history of questioning vaccine safety, people are really watching how he handles this crisis. 2 kids dead from a disease that's totally preventable with vaccines. It's just, I can't even.
The Mennonite community traditionally has lower vaccination rates, which makes them particularly vulnerable to outbreaks like this one. This situation highlights the very real consequences of vaccine hesitancy.
Moving on to something that's affecting all of our wallets. Trump's tax cuts are causing quite a stir in Congress right now.
That's right. House Republicans are planning to move forward with them this week, but they're pretty divided on the issue.
Divided? More like a total mess. Some Republicans are freaking out because they don't think there are enough spending cuts in the Senate's budget blueprint. I mean, hello? Basic math?
Well, there is broad agreement within the party about extending President Trump's 2017 tax cuts and funding his priorities like immigration enforcement and military spending. But
nobody wants to talk about how we're going to pay for it. Nonpartisan budget analysts are saying this would add about $5.7 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. That's trillion with a T.
It's a significant concern. While Republicans generally support tax cuts as economic stimulants, the fiscal conservatives in the party are worried about the long-term impact on the deficit.
I just don't get how they can all agree they want these tax cuts, but can't agree on how to, not bankrupt the country in the process. It's like wanting to buy a Ferrari when you can barely afford ramen noodles.
What we're seeing is the classic tension between cutting taxes and maintaining fiscal responsibility. The Senate has already passed their version, but the House has those members who are demanding more substantial spending cuts to offset the revenue loss.
So basically, they all want the political win of giving people tax cuts, but nobody wants the political pain of cutting popular programs. Tale as old as time, am I right?
Indeed. And it's going to be a delicate balancing act for House leadership as they try to move this forward while keeping their slim majority intact.
And now for my favorite segment, Ripple Effects, where we look at how one trend creates waves across society. Today, Mark, I'm dying to talk about something that goes beyond just being sustainable. It's called regenerative everything.
This is actually fascinating, Alex. While sustainability has been about reducing harm, doing less damage to the environment, regenerative practices take it to the next level by actually restoring and improving natural systems.
Right? It's like sustainability is just saying, hey, let's not make things worse, but regenerative is like, let's actually make things better than they were before. Which, honestly, is how I approach my coffee intake every morning.
Well, your coffee might not be regenerative, but this trend is gaining serious momentum. It started in agriculture with regenerative farming, which uses techniques like no-till planting, cover crops, and rotational grazing to rebuild soil health.
Oh, I remember that from our episode on do-nothing farming. It's like, instead of just not poisoning the soil with chemicals, you're actually making the soil healthier than it was before you farmed it. Which seems kind of obvious when you think about it.
Exactly. And healthy soil doesn't just grow better food. It also sequesters carbon from the atmosphere, which helps fight climate change. General Mills has committed to advancing regenerative agriculture practices on 1 million acres of farmland by 2030.
Wait, so my Cheerios could actually be helping save the planet? That's wild. What about beyond farming? I've been seeing this word regenerative pop up everywhere lately.
Fashion is another big area embracing regenerative practices. Brands like Patagonia and North Face are starting to source wool and cotton from regenerative farms. These materials not only have a lower carbon footprint, but actually help restore grasslands and improve biodiversity.
So my overpriced hiking jacket might actually be worth the money? Finally, some justification for my shopping habits.
Well, it's more complicated than that. There's a real economic impact here. Regenerative supply chains often involve paying farmers and producers more fairly, which can raise prices for consumers. But they're also more resilient to climate disruptions.
Speaking of disruptions, don't we just have those massive floods in Kentucky? We've talked about it yesterday during our episode on eco-anxiety and all those wildfires in California. I mean, at some point, we have to stop just talking about being sustainable and start fixing what we've broken, right?
You bring up a great point. Climate disasters are becoming more frequent and severe, and many businesses are realizing that their long-term survival depends on not just reducing harm, but actively restoring the natural systems they depend on.
Okay, but let's be honest, Mark. Is this just another marketing buzzword that companies can slap on their products to charge us more? Because my BS detector is going off a little bit.
That's a fair concern. There's definitely some greenwashing happening, but there are also legitimate certification programs emerging, like the regenerative organic certification, that hold companies accountable to specific standards.
So how do regular people like our listeners actually tell the difference? I mean, I can barely remember my grocery list, let alone research every brand's farming practices.
Look for those third-party certifications, but also consider buying from smaller local producers where you can actually talk to the people growing your food or making your products. Farmers markets are great for this.
But wait, this isn't just about consumer choices, right? I mean, this seems like something that should be happening at a bigger scale than just me choosing different apples at Whole Foods.
Absolutely. We're seeing entire cities adopt regenerative principles. Places like Portland, Oregon, and Burlington, Vermont are implementing urban forestry programs and green infrastructure that not only reduce flooding, but improve air quality and create wildlife habitat.
And what about cost? Because let's be real, a lot of Americans are struggling just to pay for regular groceries, let alone fancy regenerative ones.
That's the challenge. Right now, many regenerative products do cost more, but as adoption increases, those costs should come down. And there's a growing recognition that the true cost of conventional products, including environmental damage, has been hidden from consumers for decades.
So basically, we've been getting a discount on everything at the expense of the planet, and now the bill is coming due?
In a way, yes, but regenerative practices also create new economic opportunities. Regenerative tourism, for example, focuses on travel experiences that actually improve the destinations visitors enjoy.
Wait, so instead of just trying not to trash the beach while I'm on vacation, I could actually help restore it? That's pretty cool.
Exactly, and that creates jobs in restoration, conservation, and sustainable development. The regenerative economy isn't just about fixing environmental problems, it's about creating a more resilient and equitable economic system.
So we're talking about a complete paradigm shift. Not just do less harm, but actually do more good. I'm into it. Though I still feel like I need a PhD just to shop for groceries these days.
It can seem overwhelming, but each small choice adds up. The movement toward regenerative systems represents a profound shift in how we think about our relationship with the natural world, from one of extraction to one of reciprocity.
Reciprocity, that's a fancy word for a Tuesday morning, Mark, but I like it. Giving back more than we take. Maybe I should try that with my neighbor's Wi-Fi that I've been secretly using.
I'm not sure that's quite what regenerative practices are about, Alex. Anyway, now for our final segment, The Morning Whisper, where we leave you with a moment of calm to carry into your day.
I'm still thinking about all that regenerative stuff we just talked about. It's pretty amazing how nature can heal itself if we just let it and maybe help it along a little.
That's exactly right, Alex. Nature has this incredible capacity for renewal and regeneration. Think about a forest after a fire. What seems like complete destruction eventually gives way to new growth, sometimes even more vibrant than before.
Oh, kind of like my hair after that terrible haircut last month. It came back stronger and slightly less, mullet-like.
Not quite what I was going for, but sure. The point is, we humans also have that same capacity for renewal built into us. We just need to create the right conditions.
So what you're saying is we need to be like soil? That's deep, Mark. Literally deep, like underground deep.
What I'm suggesting is this. Take a moment today to consider what regenerates you. What practices actually restore your energy rather than just preventing burnout?
Oh, I get it now, like how scrolling on my phone feels like a break, but actually drains me more, versus actually going outside, which feels harder, but actually makes me feel way better.
Exactly. So here's our mindfulness tip for today. Notice the difference between activities that merely distract you versus those that truly restore you.
And maybe try to shift the balance a bit more toward the regenerative stuff.
Even just a few minutes can make a difference. Like a forest that regrows tree by tree, we build resilience one small regenerative practice at a time.
I'm totally trying this today. My phone is going in a drawer for at least 20 minutes.
That's a start, Alex. That's a start.
Well, that wraps up today's Blue Mountain Morning. Thanks for sharing these calm and cozy moments with us on this Tuesday, April 8th.
We hope you're feeling a bit more centered and ready to take on whatever the day brings.
Oh, and if you enjoyed today's episode, could you do us a tiny favor? Tell literally everyone you know about us. Your friends, your family, that person who makes your coffee, random strangers on the subway.
Maybe not the subway strangers, Alex.
Fine, but seriously, word of mouth really helps us grow this little community.
And if you'd like a shout out on a future episode, just drop us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com.
I really love doing those. I get to practice all my different voices.
We'll be back tomorrow with another episode to help you find some clarity in this chaotic world.
Until then, stay curious and maybe try that regenerative stuff we talked about. I'm totally turning off notifications for at least an hour. Maybe. We'll see.
Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow.